This is the Readers Are Leaders show. This is a solo show that I'm doing, and I did a show with a few people for a while, man. I was doing shows with not a while, just I did like three or four, and but yeah, man, I don't know. I want to switch it up, dude. I want to just do a solo show. That's it. Just for a minute, man. I got tired of talking with people. Steve Gerard was right. My buddy Steve Gerard, dude, he said that around like week number 4, I would just get tired of doing it. And he was right. So, yeah, Steve was right. But yeah, man, I'm, I think I read The Economist every week. So I'm going to talk about The Economist. I'm going to talk about what is going on in the world. The Economist. I read the first 2 to 3 paragraphs of every article, and I read the whole obituary, which is written by Ann Rowe. Shout out Ann Rowe. And They start off with a summary of all the news that happens. I'm gonna read off that summary essentially. I feel, and kind of go from there. So yep. So this podcast is brought to you unofficially by The Economist. Unofficially, we are not officially sponsored by The Economist. Unofficially, because I just have a subscription to The Economist. Okay, so Russia is apparently like right along. Russia is about to invade the Ukraine. They're on the border. They have all the tanks there. And this is kind of something that I think I have a theory that the Ukrainian people kind of low key want to become Russian because they're, I only read The Economist. I don't watch the news ever. I just read The Economist. And so I don't know if there's like protests over there, but I feel like if Canada had a bunch of tanks on the Canadian border getting ready to invade the United States, I feel like there would be protests in major cities in the United States to for something. There would be chaos. There wouldn't in the news they say like Ukrainian people are like resigned to the inevitable. So like they're just kind of resigned to the idea of becoming Russian, and it sounds to me like maybe they want to become Russian. That's what it sounds to. I remember when they and I'm not. I don't know. I don't know if that's a good thing or not. I'm not there. And I really don't know. I have no idea. I remember when they. I remember reading when they annexed the Crimea, however you pronounce that. And some podcasts I would like to point out have a person doing research, or the person who's talking is doing research. This podcast has none of that. This podcast has just me saying things that might be true. And but anyway, yeah. Effectively, I remember that this was they said that the Crimea that like almost everybody like 90% of people in the Crimea like wanted to become Russian. So I don't know. Maybe that's might be a thing. Don't know. Okay, so this Boris Johnson guy, the I believe he's the UK Prime Minister. Everyone wants him to step down because he had a party. He had a party, and he told all the peasants to wear their masks, and then he went to a party and did not wear his mask. And so everyone's like, you need to step down. And I agree. I think he needs to step down because he went to a party. I think he needs to step down. I think Nancy Pelosi, she went and got her hair done when no one else could, and so she needs to step down too. And I think uh, uh, it, it's all a show. It's an obvious show. anyone in politics is putting on an obvious show. And to a large degree, I think a lot of this could be gone by us simply ignoring these people in a lot of ways. I don't think a lot of people would necessarily have, because a lot of people don't do anything. Like that AOC lady. She's always yelling about stuff, but I don't see her doing. And I don't even think. I don't know if Trump was a good president, but he actually did do a lot. I think he was like doing. I'm not saying those tariffs were good, but he was doing tariffs left and right. So that's not good either. So it's. I don't know. I don't know what's the right answer. You got one guy doing too much, everyone else doing too little. And yeah. Also, too, this is interesting. In Ukraine, Hunter Biden he got in trouble there in Ukraine back when Trump was in office, and no one knows what happened, but it looked like Hunter Biden was doing some shady dealings in the Ukraine. And then after that, because of that scandal, apparently the U.S. ambassador to the Ukraine had to step down. And apparently Joe Biden hasn't assigned a new one since. And now they're on the brink of war. The country is, and we don't really have a full-time ambassador there right now. I think there's like people there from the United States now, but it's like at the 11th hour, and so it's not good. And yeah, but a lot of corruption all over the world, and I think a lot of politicians don't know how to behave now because they have ties to just, I guess, bribery or whatever in many different places. That's such a weird thing that they have this one son, the Bidens, they have this one son. So there's like this one named Bo, and he died. And he was like the favorite child. But then Hunter is going around taking all the bribes. So honestly, Hunter's labeled like the Judas of the family, but I think he's the one that seems to be taking the most risks for the well-being of the family. Personally, I think they're definitely optimizing on the fact that everyone thinks he's an asshole, so they're just letting him like make art and having people buy the art and bribe that way. I think it's what I heard. I don't really. It kind of makes sense. So I guess in Nigeria there was a 7-month ban on people using Twitter, and because Twitter removed a tweet from the president, and so the country of Nigeria hit back. And so I don't know why we don't get a second Twitter, like a second thing. They have like the conservative one, that Getter, but nobody's on that, so it sucks. But the president needs to put his tweets on more places than just Twitter. He can screenshot it afterwards and then put it on Facebook and Instagram, and then he doesn't have to worry if Twitter takes it down. He can tell everyone in the country, "Hey, check out my Medium account." That's what he can do. Okay, so protesters against military rule in Sudan barricaded streets and forced shops to close for 2 days. The security forces reportedly killed 10 people. So that's thank God I live here in the United States. Generally 10 people, during the insurrection on last year, that one chick died on January 6th. But that's just one, not 10. So 9 more, and that would have been that. John Joel Joseph, a former senator in Haiti, was arrested in Jamaica. Mr. Joseph has been accused by the Haitian police of being involved in the murder of President Jovenel Moise in July last year. He denies it. So, denied it, supplied it. That's what. So he probably murdered that guy. He's on the run. So maybe he's in Jamaica. He's not there for no reason. But maybe he just knew they were gonna frame him or something. I don't know. To tell you the truth, I have no idea. Ingrid Betancourt, a former senator in Colombia, said she would run for president in May. Miss Betancourt was captured by FARC rebels in 2002 and held for 6 years. She presents herself as a centrist. The frontrunner is a left-winger, Gustavo Petro. So she's a miss. She's not married. So apparently when she was in prison for 6 years, she did not meet the love of her life. So she's still single, and I'm looking to be the first man of a country. So could be a good opportunity for me. Could be I could move to Colombia, to Bogota. I think Cali is the other big city there, I think. So yeah, it'd be fun. Okay, Cuba's communist regime held closed trials for peaceful protesters, some as young as 16, who took to the streets last year to demand democracy and reliable electricity. Harsh penalties are expected. Wow. People are protesting in Cuba. And I feel like people are always protesting in Cuba. That's the way they make it seem here in the United States. They make it seem like people are trying to get here by raft from Cuba all the time. I don't know. I hear they have good medicine. So I hear they have good medicine and classic cars. So I don't think the classic car thing, I think it's like a draw though, even though it's not supposedly like, I don't know. I don't know if that's good or not, but I think people go there because they like the classic cars, but I think all the cars are old, like legit. Like I think that's like a thing. I don't think there's like new cars allowed or something. That's what I heard. I have no idea. I've never been to Cuba. I've never been, but sounds fun. Sounds good. They have cigars. Okay, a volcanic eruption in Tonga cut off communications with the archipelago kingdom, whatever, for days. 3 deaths were confirmed, though the toll is expected to rise. The eruption caused a tsunami so large that 2 people drowned across the Pacific in Peru. Tongan islands were heaped with ash. Tongan islands were heaped with ash, and 2 people died across the ocean in Peru. So I don't even know how that happened. That just seems like maybe a wave hit a bucket and hit somebody on the head, and then another person was just passed out on the beach. That's what, I don't know. I didn't get the whole story. Very vague on how those 2 folk passed. So, okay, Australia deported Novak Djokovic. I don't know. He needs to buy another. No, there's a lot of vowels actually. There's a lot of vowels, and he doesn't need to buy a vowel. He maybe need to. There's a D and a J which I think that means the D is silent, like Django. Novak Jovic, maybe because the D is silent. Okay, Novak Jovic. Australia deported Novak Jovic after judges dismissed his challenge to the cancellation of his visa for a second time. The immigration minister revoked the unvaccinated tennis player's visa on health and good order grounds. So I think let him play, man. I don't get. Australia is just so strict with this vaccine, and I guess a lot of pro sports stuff is. Man, that's a lot of money to turn down. It's a tough call, man. Because I'm pro don't get vaxxed if you don't want to get vaxxed. I'm pro do whatever the hell you want. But man, these sports teams, they I don't know, man. It's not, if you're vaxxed, you're not going to get it. So I don't get why all the peer pressure. I don't, they're they're like, it's like they're like Nike, just do it with the vax. Just do it. And but it's like you could say just do it and don't get it. Just do it and don't get it. Okay, Kazakhstan's former president Nursultan Nazarbayev appeared in public for the first time this year. He gave a televised address more than 2 weeks after nationwide protests flared up. He claimed there was no conflict with his chosen successor, Kasimam Zomart Tovakiv, who appears to have sidelined him. So, it's strange. Whenever Kazakhstan is in the news, it's because that's where Borat's from. So everyone here just knows they just thinks of Borat people. And a lot of people they think people from the Middle East aren't white, and that's insane to me, because like Sacha Baron Cohen played. I don't know if Kazakhstan is in the Middle East, but I think people from the Middle East are white. I think that's the thing. I think people from the Middle East are white. I don't think they're brown. Personally, I don't think. But yeah, Kazakhstan. It's in the news. It's in the news. The FBI shot dead a British man of Pakistani origin who had taken 4 people hostage at a synagogue near Dallas. Questions were asked about how the man, who had once been a subject of interest to British intelligence, was allowed to enter the United States. His family said he had been mentally ill. And yeah, there are people out there who they have guns and they're trying to be main characters. And they need to realize that whatever their mission is from God, it's probably more subtle than what they think, and they shouldn't murder people. That's their mission from God. It's probably more, I do jokes, I'm a comedian. They could do that. Seems to be more effective. In the long run, you seem to be happier as a comic, I feel. America's Justice Department laid the first indictments for sedation against some of the rioters who stormed Congress on January 6th last year. 11 people, including the leader of the Oath Keepers, a far-right group, were charged with conspiring to oppose by force the transfer of presidential power. Congress was certifying the result of the 2020 election at the time. And yeah, I think anyone who raided the Capitol on January 6th should, for sure, of course, go to jail. That seems more than appropriate, because they murdered that one chick. That was, I think the police, that Ashley Batley, they murdered her, because that's you got, even during a riot, if you're the cops, you can't kill anybody. So yeah, they murdered her. So that sucks for her. But all the other people that didn't get murdered, that went inside, they should go to jail. So. Okay, in a day of drama in the American Senate, Democrats failed to pass measures that would standardize voting procedures across the country, and were also defeated in an attempt to change the filibuster rule that would have allowed the bills to proceed. Republicans were adamantly opposed, accusing Democrats of exaggerating the effect of state changes to voting rules. And so, yeah, I vote every election. I never have a problem with voting. apparently there is a problem with voting in places. I live in New York City. I've lived in Brooklyn and Manhattan, and I lived in what I was told was the hood in Brooklyn. I don't know. It seemed fine to me. I was the only white person there, but that doesn't mean it's not, it's not nice. That does, that means nothing. Doesn't mean it was the hood. But voting was easy. Voting was easy. I just went and voted right away. And there was it was like at the local high school. I just walked in and, like 8 p.m. at night, and it was in like their gymnasium, and I just voted. Took a minute, not a minute, 10 minutes, and I voted for Biden because my girlfriend at the time made me. So, yep. Okay, Joe Biden urged companies to implement their own vaccine mandates after the Supreme Court struck down his order for them to do so. The court found that the federal agency tasked with enforcing the mandate did not have such broad power to regulate public health. The decision opens the way for Republican states to outlaw companies' no jab, no job requirements. Yeah, I think if you're unvaccinated, you should still be able to get a job, man. They're doing that in a lot of places, man. Here in New York City, you have to be vaccinated to get a W-2 job. If you're not vaccinated, you're relegated to 1099 work or God knows what, prostitution. That's what you're relegated to here. If in New York City, you are on OnlyFans. If you do not have a vaccine here in New York City, you are an OnlyFans person. That's the only way you can survive. Okay, COVAX, a scheme to provide COVID-19 vaccines to non-rich countries, delivered its billionth dose. It still has a lot of work to do. Of the WHO's 194 member countries, 36 have inoculated less than 10% of their populations, and 88 less than 40%. Here's what I don't understand. All these like third world countries, nobody's vaxxed, and I don't think anyone's dying in mass in these countries. So I don't know. I mean, there's a part of me, dare I say, I feel in the United States and other first world countries, I feel we overreacted, and now we're worried that we underreacted in second and third world countries, and it turns out we didn't. They're doing just fine. I think, I don't know, but I don't hear reports of mass deaths still. I think maybe March of 2020, it was making its way through old folk homes in mass, I think. Wait a minute, Mr. Postman. The Chinese government, which is hoping for a COVID-free Winter Olympics in Beijing, urged people to wear gloves and masks when opening mail, especially foreign packages. It claimed the Omicron variant may have entered China that way after a woman tested positive and traces of the virus were found on a parcel she had received from Canada. So that's one thing you got to know, is that China and Canada are kind of in like a shadow war that's going on, because Canada is buddy with the United States, and so China can't be at war with the United States because the United States is too big of an enemy. It's like we can't be at war with China because they're too big of an enemy, but like they can be at war with Canada. It's like how we can be at war with North Korea. Like it's kind of, you kind of just go to war with like they're the little brother of the big brother country. That's what happened. And so, yep. In what is by far the biggest ever takeover in the gaming industry, Microsoft agreed to buy Activision Blizzard, the company behind the Call of Duty series and Warcraft, for $69 billion. Microsoft is hungry for new content as it seeks to develop a Netflix for games, which can be streamed from any device, such as phones, and not just its Xbox console. I'm reading this from The Economist, by the way. Gaming will play a key role in the development of metaverse platforms, stated Satya Nadella, Microsoft's boss. Okay, that's I don't know if that's a dude or a chick. Satya, probably a dude. I don't know. Microsoft seems like Bill Gates seems like a misogynistic guy. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like he would hire a dude. But yeah, man, video games are the future. That is, I don't play at all, so I'm gonna be left behind. I'm gonna be a guy who maybe I'll get a gig selling hot dogs in the metaverse. Just be a hot dog guy there and just sell fake hot dogs that have BBW porn inside. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what would exist in the metaverse with a hot. I feel like there will be hot dog vendors though, but I don't know what you can't eat metaverse food. Maybe in the future, I don't really know. That'd be wild. They had stuff where you could put sensors in your stomach and it felt like you were getting fed in the metaverse when you're not getting fed. It's wild. Okay, Unilever said it would not increase its 50 billion, 68 billion offer for GlaxoSmithKline's consumer healthcare business, which in effect ends its pursuit of a deal. Its ambitious play for the business, which includes such familiar brands as Advil, Nicorette, Panadol, and Sensodyne, and in which Pfizer owns a 32% stake, didn't go down well with Unilever's investors. The conglomerate stock swooned when news of the bid was made public. So, yeah, I think this is how people make money. I think just people are out there just combining companies and then going and having sex with prostitutes. I think that's what Wolf of Wall Street is. Apparently, I don't know. Better late than never. ExxonMobil laid out its strategy to reduce carbon emissions with an aim to reach net zero emissions by 2050 and a pledge to reduce them by a fifth by 2030 compared with 2016. But the plan counts only the company's own greenhouse gases from its production of oil and gas and not the broader category of Scope 3 emissions, which are generated across the firm's value chain, suppliers, and customers. Got it. Well, you know what? They can only be responsible for what they're doing. I mean, I guess they could use clean suppliers and they can only do business with clean customers, I guess. But you know what? If everyone cleans their own front porch, the whole world would be clean, right? So I say ExxonMobil is doing good. So everyone gives so much hate, man, but everyone drives a car, man. I don't drive a car. I live in New York City, but a lot of people. And so, it's just don't hate on ExxonMobil. Don't buy a Tesla. Just don't hate on them. Just buy a Tesla. Buy a Tesla and move on with your life. Providing reassurance that pandemic restrictions really do apply to everyone, Antonio Horta Osorio resigned as chairman of Credit Suisse after the bank's board reportedly found that he broke quarantine rules, including on a trip to the Wimbledon tennis final in July. Mr. Horta Osorio had held the job for less than 9 months. I feel like they just want him gone, man, because that's some trumped up charges, man. He went to Wimbledon to enjoy. I don't know, man. I don't know if there was no one at Wimbledon. It feels like some people would be there, and I can't imagine working for a company and making tons of money, like insane amounts of money, and they are like, "Hey, you can't go anywhere." And yeah, that's not worth it. That's not. Well, I can't go anywhere because I'm poor, so that's bad too. So that's, it's kind of, I don't know, money entrapped or poor and free. I guess I can go wherever I want and just be poor when I go there. I can just go wherever I want and just be poor, which is fine. So the global job market will take longer to recover from the COVID-19 crisis than had been thought, according to the International Labor Organization. Its latest forecast estimates that there will be 52 million fewer jobs in 2022 compared with 2019, and that a full recovery in 2023 remains elusive. All right. Yeah, I don't think the economy is going to recover anytime soon. Here's the thing. I think Here's what I think. I think machines do a lot of work now, but also we've created, with this whole metaverse stuff, we've created like an infinite amount of worlds basically. And so, even though AI will do a lot of the roles within those worlds, we now have an infinite amount of worlds and a finite amount of people. And so, ironically, now we need people again. People are maintaining worlds online, and they're not driving trucks in the real world. They're just maintaining worlds online. So, yep. Another surge in COVID and supply chain bottlenecks caused Germany's economy to shrink by up to 1% in the fourth quarter of 2021 compared with the third, according to an initial official estimate for the whole year. German GDP rose by 2.7%, though output was still 2% lower than in 2019 before the pandemic. German people are they're very smart. They really are. They're very industrious people. They're very intelligent, industrious people. And so economy wise, they're always gonna be fighting to earn money. They're always gonna be doing it. So that's, if they had a bad year, it's only noticeable because they generally do well money wise, economy wise as a country. The People's Bank of China cut one of its main interest rates. The reduction was small, but a signal to markets that officials are preparing to act to stabilize the economy amid COVID and difficulties in the housing market. The main lending rate for mortgages was also cut. China's GDP grew by 4% in the fourth quarter, year on year, the slowest pace since the depths of the pandemic. The economy officially grew by 8.1% for the whole of 2021. So China is cutting interest rates, getting their inflation under control. I don't know if they have inflation over there, but definitely they're not, or they're raising interest rates, I should say. I'm sorry, not cutting interest rates, raising interest rates. Try to stabilize their economy. I guess their housing market is going out of control, so they need people to stop buying houses. Well, that's good for them that they can afford here in the United States. Well, actually, yeah, we had the same thing happen here. So, okay, well, China's doing well. Good for them. I don't know. I've never been there. I think, from what I understand, like Hong Kong and Taiwan, politically, people are freer than in the mainland, and so I think people in the mainland are kind of, they can't just like a gay guy in the mainland of China can't just be gay, from what I understand, which is sad. He like apparently like it's like the 1950s towards LGBTQ people over there. I think, I don't know. I have no idea. Britain's annual rate of inflation rose to 5.4%, its highest level in 30 years. Food prices are climbing at their fastest pace since 2008. Energy costs are also rocketing and are expected to soar even higher when the regulator's price cap is lifted in April. The number of households under fuel stress spending at least 10% of their income on energy bills is set to jump. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah. So people in the UK are, man, everything's more expensive. Food is just more expensive right now, man. It's crazy, dude. It costs me like $20 a day to eat right now. Like, I'm talking like groceries. It's insane. I'm one guy. In some good news for the British economy, GDP rose above its pre-pandemic level for the first time in November, although that was before Omicron struck. Yeah. So, as we now know, Omicron has just made everything sad this winter. Here in New York City, people aren't out at all. And I think it's because of the Omicron, or people are poor. Governments in the EU are also struggling to control the impact of higher energy costs. In France, the EDF, an energy provider, saw its market value slump by a fifth after it said that the French government's attempt to limit rises in electricity bills would hurt its earnings. Okay. Uh, all these capitalist countries, man. Here's the thing: is everyone wants electricity, so you can only apply capitalist supply and demand logic to markets where you don't have to have something. If you have to have something like healthcare or electricity, if the demand is 100%, then you can't apply capitalistic norms to it anymore. And no matter how much you try, so you just have some things have to be socialist. Electricity is one of them. Medicine is kind of one of them. Things of that nature. Oh, the amount of money we dumped into these vaccines, man. They don't even work. Go on ssrn.com, read the articles on there, man. Their academic papers for peer review. And yeah, the vaccines don't work. Meanwhile, oil prices hit a 7-year high as markets try to assess whether demand will outpace supply this year. Brent crude traded well above $88 a barrel. The price has risen by 13% since the start of the year. So, oil's doing well. There was a minute there during the lockdown where no one needed oil and just oil countries were poor for a week. But they're doing fine now. So the Bank of Japan raised its inflation forecast for 2022 to 1.1%, low by international standards, but uncommon in a country that has battled deflation for decades. Higher energy and food prices are feeding through to the economy, but with inflation still far below the central bank's 2% target, it sees no need to increase interest rates. Okay. So Japan is keeping their interest rates low. They're not increasing them like China is. AT&T and Verizon again postponed their rollout of 5G services at some airports amid warnings that the cellular towers could interfere with aircraft navigation systems. Okay, that's interesting. You don't have 5G at the airports. You would think people are doing business there at the airports, but no 5G. A squeeze on households. The price of orange juice futures surged after this year's orange crop in Florida was forecast to be the smallest since 1945. The Sunshine State's orange groves are plagued with tree lice. Orange prices are also sensitive to a drought in Brazil, which has hurt citrus production there. The overall demand for orange has lost some zest in recent years as customers switch to low sugar drinks. Yeah, I don't drink as much orange juice as I used to. I really don't. But also, apparently, tree lice. So that's the thing. The trees have to go to the school nurse, and the school nurse checks their leaves for lice. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, love you all. Hope all is well in your lives. And yeah, I guess I'm gonna go to bed right now. I think. Let me see. Yeah, I'm gonna go to bed. Peace.